And just on a serious note, with this kind of content, because I took and copied it and put it in a Word document over here on my other screen, George. I'm kind of looking at it, and I'll review it later on. I think this is exactly what helps people become good. And then once you become good, you can work on going from good to great, right? In other words, anytime you're learning something, anytime you've got, a scenario, what we do is we solve problems, right? All of us, we solve problems, and we do that, in the context of usually a phone call or a Zoom presentation or a Zoom call, right? And so when that's the case, it's words, that we use to solve problems. And man, when you can practice and master the words that you put together into a script, and if you can when we can deliver those things to people in a way that feels as though we know what we're talking about, and it creates not only a solution, but it also kind of calms some of their fears and nerves. Part of what I like about some of this that I'm kind of scanning on my other screen here, George, is you're addressing a few things that maybe they would ask, but you're also talking about a couple of things that they may not ask you about. Chances are nobody's going to call you on the first call and say, hey, I'm looking for money without collateral, and can you show me how to do that so that I separate my personal and business credit and I enhance the overall quality of my credit report? You're probably not going to get that, right? But when you choose to help somebody think about their quote transaction in a way that helps them go beyond just the can I have some money and will you get me $1 question, conversation, you move yourself from, you're no longer just another pitch man or pitch girl, right? Because there's all kinds of people that'll take your lead online and they'll come in and they'll pitch you and pitch you and pitch you and pitch you. We do those exercises sometimes, where we pull in the call center and we say, let's go into somebody's funnel and let's see how many calls we get and let's see the quality of them. And everybody can be a pitch man after a day of training on how to use a system, and now you just call and boom, 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 right? But how many people have language that helps you say, wait a minute, I kind of do want that, but that's not what I was thinking about. Can I do that? How do I do that? Is that what you do? Wait a minute. Tell me a little bit more. And now you've piqued interest. You've helped them realize that you're probably a little different than the other 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people that are pinging them. Because guys, think about it. If we went to, let's say the NACLB conference, National Alliance of Commercial Loan Brokers, and if we found all the best people, right, all the best people that really know business financing and they understand it really well, when we go on our Google searches and we get online and we start looking for financing, are those the people we're talking to? Probably not. Who are we talking to? We tend to be talking to people that are a little bit lower paid, and they tend to be people that, or sometimes they're the salespeople that are just trying to, close a sale. But we don't have a really difficult set of competitors usually that are out there that we're up against. So when we can separate ourselves, man, does it make a difference. And you guys have heard me say this before, where I learn my language and where I craft my scripts is I just create the script and then I go in the basement and I walk in circles and I kind of practice my script. And so this is the kind of thing that if you can learn something like this, remember, you can do this on a phone call where you're reading it, but you don't want the person on the other end you don't want to say, hello gang, Joe, um, the LenCred business credit building system offers you, obviously I'm exaggerating, right? But when you can make that flow a little bit, the LenCred business credit building system offers you many advantages, Mr. Jones. Before we get started, can I just outline a couple of them so that you can probably know why I'm taking you and recommending you to move in this certain direction? Again, that's kind of me spitballing. Your ability to walk through that in a way that then articulates clearly what those benefits are and why they should consider it, man, that can make all the difference in the world. So George, I'm going to take a look at this as well and see what I can learn from it. And if it was me on the other end of receiving this, what I'd be doing is I'd be spending the next 2 or 3 days practicing this and maybe making a couple of modifications that make it my own. And now all of a sudden I can practice and practice and practice. The reason why I was able to shoot 89% from the free throw line when I was in college is because of all the repetition, all the practice, right? It wasn't easy, but practice allowed me to become better than my peers and good at something. And now in the world that we live in today, here's the great benefit is we're no longer up against people that are just crazy talented. Nobody comes out of the womb with a talent for business credit and business financing, right? This is not, the entertainment industry. This is not, football. This is right. We're in a business where it's about skill development, right? Yeah, there's some people that are talented in the sense that they maybe can connect with people a little bit better than others, right? I'm introverted, but I'm not shy, right? I'm not extroverted life of the party guy, but I'm also not shy. And so my introverted nature means that I probably enjoy those times when it's, when I either have some downtime or whatnot. And sometimes when I'm in larger crowds and things like that, I get, drained, but I really enjoy the one-on-one aspect of selling. And so then when I can get good at, because I think that, what makes me really good at what I do, I'm confident in my ability to um, to not only sell, but to properly communicate to people what their options are and where they should be looking and how their mindset kind of should be working. I think I'm pretty good at that, but that came from practice. Skill development takes time. So man, this is really good. And if you want to get really good, then think about our funnel, right? Think about I'm in the transfer station, for example, and I have an appointment today, and I have X number of appointments per week. And now the first conversion is, can I take that person and can I convert them into doing a boss survey? That's kind of your first conversion, if you will. And to a certain degree, there's kind of the ups and downs of that in terms of in one sense, everybody needs money. So it's kind of easy in that sense. But it's a little different sometimes than certain other transactional models, right? So that's my first conversion. And with something like what George just gave you, you now have a tool that helps you do that very job better, right? You went from using the manual, screwdriver to the power tools, right? And now you can do things more efficiently. You can do it faster. You can do more of them, and you can get better at your craft, right? And so that's kind of your first conversion. Now, if you took some time and said, I want to be an absolute master at that first piece, at the part about building rapport, that's that first phone call is about building rapport and establishing need. If I become a master at that, then some of what I bring to the next stage, I'm going to have more people at the next stage of the funnel. And then after I'm a master at that, I can work at the next thing. And so skill development, where that's the beauty of what we do. The beauty of what we do is we're not going to lose to the guy that can jump higher than us or that has a better voice than us. In our 20s, sometimes we lost out to, in our teens and 20s, sometimes we lost out in sports and singing and different types of, things because other people had talent that we didn't have. We don't run into that here. This is about skill development. And when you're a student of your craft and you develop your skill, you can then move ahead of your peers and the other people that we in essence compete against. So this is at the heart. What George just gave us is at the heart of why I think I'm good at what I do. I don't think anybody's better at what I do than I am. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but I think I'm better than anybody else at the craft that I've committed to. And that doesn't mean I can do every piece of it better than each of you, because I've seen some of you who have taught me things that have made me better. But at the end of the day, I put in the time, guys. I put in the time and I've done the practice and I've done the work and I know how to, right? And so I'm still learning every day, but I'm confident that nobody can do this better. If whoever's on the other end of that phone, they are lucky because they've got me. And the reason they're lucky they got me isn't because, I put my shoes on right and, I got the coolest, gear, none of that. It's because I've been a student of my craft for 10 plus years and I've been diligent in that, and I'm going to continue to be. Because why? Because I want to bring them value. And this right here I love because it's right there. This helps us develop a skill that is absolutely invaluable. If you became good at this alone, just this alone, and you became an absolute master at this craft, this alone makes you 6 figures a year plus. And then you get good at that, and then you work on the next thing, start looking out. Here he comes, here she comes, because they're getting good. So you build rapport, you establish the need, and you have a script like this that helps you to create some value, and then boom, you move them forward. George.